members of ICAI and also TIE. And thanks for asking me to participate in this program. Any engagement with even a single chartered accountant throughout my career, I have found it a very rewarding and enriching experience. And I have come out wiser after that engagement. And therefore, with a group of chartered accountants, I'm sure that I will be the gainer more than anybody else through this interaction. Coming to the topic of MSMEs as a growth engine for the Kerala state, the Kerala economy, it is but proper that you have thought of setting up and ideating a help desk, because most of the time, as a practical banker in operations, we have found that the problem really lies not with the activity to be undertaken by the borrower, the activity which is being undertaken by the borrower or proposed to be undertaken by the borrower, nor even, I would say, greatly with the system of assessment of credit that a banker would follow or the time that he would take. Even though aberrations would be there of delays, of queries, of papers being asked, so on and so forth. But most importantly, I have found at the operational level, the hand holding that is required for an entrepreneur to satisfy the requirements of a financier, whether it is a bank, an NBFC, or any other institution, the coordination that is required to be done is most often missing. And this help desk being formed and piloted by the ICAI, I am sure will attempt to provide that, fill that gap. When I say attempt, I speak with the experience of about 35 years in banking. And at least a few of us are in the same, I'm in the 60s generation. There are people belonging to different generations attending this program. Why I said that it is a good attempt is that we have seen many attempts like this, and some have succeeded, some have failed. So therefore, we have to keep on trying with the hope that this attempt will succeed, but with no guarantee whatsoever that this attempt will succeed. So we have to hope for the best, we have to try for the best, but also we have to be prepared for the worst, because there are umpteen number of roadblocks, umpteen number of obstacles in the path over which any initiative like this can trip and fall over. I'm sure that we will be all together in trying to see to it that this help desk initiative does not have the does not meet the fate of many other initiatives that we have seen in the industry, in this sector in the past. All of us are aware. We all start with good intentions, but somewhere in the execution there are problems, and I feel that in the execution and in the implementation will lie the success of this initiative. Having said that, the coming to the status of the MSME sector, the status or the problems faced by the MSME sector in Kerala are not different from the problems being faced by the MSME sector all over India. There has been the impact of the COVID lockdown last year. There was another unfortunate second surge of COVID which we experienced, and therefore overall growth at the all India level, national income has had a negative growth last year. Except for agriculture, we have had negative growth in all other sectors. We have had the same phenomenon happening in Kerala. And the only way by which we can hope to overcome this problem and put India back on the growth trajectory is through helping the MSME sector, is by hand-holding the MSME sector, because it is in this segment, it is in this sector that we see the entrepreneurial spirit of India displayed in all its magnificent glory. We can come across any number of entrepreneurs in particularly the micro and small segment who, to my mind, represent the resilience and the real entrepreneurial spirit of India. These are the people who make businesses work, who make our economy boom, who contribute to national income despite the problems posed by the system or by the establishment per se. These are the people who have a necessity, an existential necessity to overcome the obstacles because it is a question of their livelihood itself. Therefore, they are entrepreneurial by habit. They are entrepreneurial by the force of circumstances. They are entrepreneurial in their attempts. They are entrepreneurial towards in their attitude to life itself. A problem which may, appear to be daunting to a person like me. I am fairly senior enough in State Bank. A problem which may appear to be intimidating to me, a problem which may put off the relatively well-off sections of society, is not seen as much a problem by these entrepreneurs, which is why they are able to survive. Because at the end of the day, when they have closed their shutters and closed their businesses, and when they go back home, they don't go back with stress like you and I probably do. They go back with a smile, and when they come back next day to open the shutters and start the business, they have hope, enthusiasm, and optimism in their spirit, which is what keeps these businesses going. Now, our fundamental issue right now, I would submit, is to see to it that how do we create an environment or create circumstances by which the shackles which are upon these entrepreneurs are removed, number one. Liquidity is provided where it is needed. And more importantly, because this is a group of chartered accountants, as far as existing units are concerned, because of the financial stress that these units have faced, because of the economic problems that they have faced, because of the turnover coming lower, because of profits being hit, their cash flows are affected. How do we, mark my words, how do we see to it and ensure that illiquidity doesn't result in insolvency? I feel if as chartered accountants, if as bankers, if as financiers, if as people who are interested in the MSME sector, if we can internalize this idea, convince ourselves that we shall not let this happen, that a temporary illiquidity will not be allowed to result in an insolvency. If this spirit is imbibed and internalized, I am sure chartered accountants will be able to tailor customized solutions which will be acceptable to bankers. Bankers should also accept and internalize this. We are trying in our own way to make branches, operational functionaries aware of this dictum, importance of this dictum in all its multi-dimensional manifestations. I am sure senior chartered accountants like Babu Kallivail sir, our Mr. Govind sir, and all who have been chartered, statutory auditors to the bank in which I have worked. Others are also persons of eminence. I am not mentioning their names because I have not worked with them. But I'm sure that chartered accountants will truly and substantially know what I am talking about. And this, in sum and substance, is what we should do. We can go into the details, but the theme is simply this. There is a cash flow mismatch, a cash flow problem. If the unit is inherently viable, if the long-term viability of the unit, commercial viability, profitability, etc., is not in doubt, the person is not a cheat. The person has not diverted funds away from the business. By diversion, let us also not get into the dialectics of diversion of long-term funds for short-term use, short-term funds for long-term use. I don't consider these as diversions at all. For God's sake, let us not get into that debate, because COVID-2 surge is not the time for getting into even that debate, though RBI norms would still specify that use of short-term funds or long-term uses is also diversion, willful default, so on and so forth. My only worry is, if you don't adopt this approach, if you don't adopt this as a matter of policy, our attempt to revive the sector, our attempt to support the sector come out of this crisis is not going to bear fruit. Where will they get the liquidity? Because capital they have already put, debt they have already contracted, everything is absorbed by the business, either because the top line has been affected, the bottom lines have also been affected, there are receivables stuck, there is no money in the business, which is what we are experiencing most of the time in the case of the units which are functioning now. 10% of units may be outside of these problems, but they are not the units we are talking about. There are units which conserve cash, which are extremely conservative, and then they don't have a problem as of now. So they don't need a help desk. They don't need the help of chartered accountants. They may not even need a banker's handholding at this moment. But 90% of the units, roughly, anecdotally, we have evidence, statistically, we have evidence that 90% of the units are facing this kind of stress. And for addressing the stress, it is the duty of the banks, it is the duty of the financial institutions, it is cast upon all financial intermediaries. The responsibility has been cast upon on all the financial intermediaries by the Reserve Bank of India by providing long-term liquidity. The entire objective of the targeted long-term repo operation, TLTRO, is to infuse liquidity in the system. And we all know that as we speak on a daily basis at the all India level, and we are all India, money is fungible. It is not that money is there in Mumbai and money is not available in Kerala. If money is there in the system, Indian system, it is available for an entrepreneur in Parashala, it is available for an entrepreneur in Kasargod, Kozhikode, Cochin, whatsoever the money may be in Mumbai, we all know that. The daily surplus liquidity in the system as we speak, friends, remember, is about 4 lakh crore. 4.5, 3.5, 4 lakh, average is 4 lakh crores of surplus liquidity is available in the system. Our attempt is only to ensure how do we make it available to the person, to the unit, MSME unit, where it is required so that he can overcome. How do we customize a solution by which we don't put conditions which will result in another default even as we restructure? There are problems in restructuring also, which we all know. Experienced chartered accountants will know, experienced bankers will know. I have also a hard stop to be put at about 4:20 or so because the Manorama had called me also. So therefore, I get into this presentation straightway and try to develop this theme. Illiquidity should not result in insolvency. How do we prevent that from happening? And how do we attempt restructuring in a way in which we will help rather than hinder the unit to come out of these problems? Kerala MSMEs at a glance, this gives the overall figure of the number of units, the number of people employed by the system. We have manufacturing, trading, and other services about 21.22 lakh, and number of people employed is about 45 lakh. Let us take it 50 lakh. But the point to remember is, if it is 50 lakh, remember 50 lakh families are dependent. It is not merely the number of employees. It is also a fact that 50 lakh families probably subsist on income from MSME units. The contribution is about 30%. This is true of the contribution of the MSME sector at the all India level. Next. The loans portfolio is about total MSME, advances in Kerala is estimated to be about 63,000 crore. This is from the formal banking system. There are, of course, as we know, loans given by the NBFCs, the informal credit system in our state. There are entities which are formal, the NBFCs. There are entities which are informal, which are also catering to the MSMEs. But from the formal banking system, the commercial banks, the RRBs, the small finance banks, one of which is headquartered in our own state, and the cooperative banks, about 63,000 crores is the total loans given, catering to a number of units, about 15 or 16 lakh units. Next slide. This is the growth in the amount and the total number of units from March to December 2020. This shows that even as we faced a problem of the pandemic last year, there has been a growth in the number of units as well as in the outstanding. This outstanding could be, as we chartered accountants know, it is not evidence. It cannot be proven as evidence of fresh disbursals because interest application, which is unpaid, could also have resulted in an increase in the outstanding. Be that as it may, when compared with the all India level, I think we are on a par with the picture at the all India level. Next, please. So this shows the growth, which is, I think, a trend line, from which we can derive comfort that from an outstanding of about close to 50,000 crore in 2017, we are at 63,000 crore. And increasingly, let me tell you, there is emphasis, there is tone at the top in all the public sector banks. And speaking for State Bank of India, which has a market share of about 20% of advances at the all India level. 1/5 of the banking system of advances is with State Bank of India. I can tell you with confidence, all the chartered accountants, if your client is with State Bank of India, please be reassured that the tone at the top, the message from the top is to see to it that liquidity is provided, additional loans are provided, restructuring is provided, support is provided. And this is the message that has gone down orally, circular wise, instructions wise, and therefore the attempt all around is to see to it that this is supported somehow. But I know for a fact that when it comes to the crunch, when it comes to branches, there are problems galore, there are problems at the execution level, which we have to collectively surmount. Let us understand that bankers at the branch level are not a separate community. My younger brother is in a branch. A chartered accountant, Babu Kalavel's younger brother or cousin, nephew, maybe in a branch. So these are the people. What I mean is they are all members of the same family. And therefore, it is not, we should not treat them as a separate community. If there is a problem, I think we should try to understand what is it that is holding them back, and then try to help them execute the plan of action which is laid out in circulars and given by way of instructions. Next, please. This COVID-19 relief package, I thought I will highlight. Yeah, next one. MSME restructuring. See, all of us know that, if I remember right, actually the MSME sector has been given the facility of restructuring right from 1/1/2019, if I am not mistaken. In 2015, when the RBI stopped the CDR scheme and restructuring schemes in general, by which what I mean is, prior to that, we had the facility of restructuring and keeping it as a standard asset. Then they said, full stop to that. If you restructure, you have to downgrade and make it as an NPA. After 1 year of satisfactory performance, then you can upgrade. Technical term, satisfactory performance is again a technical term. Lack of time, I don't want to go into the details, but these are things which are clearly captured in RBI master circulars. But having stipulated that only for the MSME sector from 1/1/2019 continuously till now, as we speak, the RBI as a regulator has extended the facility of restructuring to be asked for by the MSME units to be implemented by the banks, provided the account was standard as on a specified date. And these were very, acceptable specific dates. 1/1/2019 or thereabouts, when the RBI brought in the circular, they stipulated any account which is standard as on 31/3/2019 can apply for a restructuring, and it is incumbent upon the banks to offer the restructuring account will be standard. Nothing further is required. You can ask for a restructuring, it has to be given, you implement the restructuring, provided you get the restructuring projections right, the unit would survive. Except for the fact that there came a COVID in between, but they continued that facility of restructuring. And as we speak, in the last monetary policy announcement, they said that any MSME unit which was standard in the books of the bank as on 31/3/2021 will be eligible for a restructuring. And this restructuring package is to be decided. The terms of restructuring is to be decided by the banks, and it is incumbent upon the banks to put in place a restructuring which will help units come out of the system. Hats off to the RBI that they have not been prescriptive in saying that you can do only this much, you cannot do this, you can do this, you have to do that. The only condition that they have put is maximum moratorium is 2 years, including moratorium if any given earlier. വളരെ clear ആയിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. For those of you who follow Malayalam, maybe I will switch over to Malayalam also. അതായത് മാക്സിമം 2 വർഷം മോറട്ടോറിയം കൊടുക്കുക എന്നുള്ള ഒറ്റ കണ്ടീഷൻ മാത്രമാണ് RBIയുടെ റീസ്ട്രക്ചറിംഗ് ഫെസിലിറ്റി COVID 2.0 പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളത്. ബാക്കിയുള്ളത് എത്ര കാലത്തേക്ക് ഈ റീസ്ട്രക്ചറിങ് കൊടുക്കാം എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കുറിച്ച് കാര്യമായിട്ട് ഒരു ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ കൊടുത്തിട്ടില്ല. എന്തൊക്കെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ, വാട്ട് ആർ ദ ഫെസിലിറ്റീസ്, വാട്ട് ആർ ദ കൺസെഷൻസ് ദാറ്റ് എ ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻസ് can do, RBI has not stipulated. It is up to the boards of the respective banks to decide upon the terms of restructuring. And a bank like SBI has come up with a relatively flexible, acceptable, practical, pragmatic restructuring package, which again, the design of the restructuring, the request for restructuring, the units have to make in an acceptable way and conservatively project the financials for the upcoming years. And it is here the role of the chartered accountants, whether they are individual or group or a help desk. I would plead with the chartered accountants attending this seminar or this webinar, that please see to it that the projections that are being made currently are very conservative with a margin of error, and it will stand as stress test, and that the unit doesn't into the requirement for another problem, say 6 months or 12 months down the line. Another need for restructuring should not arise. That should be the approach. And based on the bank's norms, we should be able to present a restructuring proposal. And then the banks will be bound to accept it, because banks are also, let me tell you, banks are also under pressure to prevent slippages. What is the option before a bank now? If I don't restructure, I end up with an NPA. So top management has given instructions, no NPA. We have to prevent NPAs and we have to support units. So this restructuring package has to be implemented. There I find units by themselves, he may know how to run his unit. He may be an entrepreneur who will know food processing. He may be an entrepreneur who will know, steel, some item manufacturing, casting unit. He will be the expert in casting, but he will not be the expert in casting a balance sheet or forecasting a P&L statement. Their chartered accountants have to come in. Help desk has to come in. Bankers don't have the time to tailor it. Bankers, if they are presented a proposal, they may ask a few queries, then approve it. But to expect the banks to prepare the proposal and be with the entrepreneurs is a tall order. It is not going to work out. Simple terms, it should be a GST registered entity, etc. This presentation can be shared and it can be discussed later on. 7. Next one. So the account should be standard, as I said, extra moratorium of 24 months, irregular working capital portion, we all know, where there is a fall in drawing power because the working capital assets have been eroded. The difference you give as a funded interest term loan. Then you assess working capital afresh, give that as a fresh working capital limit. Penal interest should be waived, and margin and stocks and receivables may be reduced up to 15%. And mind you, this is fresh, fresh working capital finance. Already eroded margin, which has reflected, is allowed to be converted into an FITL. So the fresh stocks, they are asking for a margin which can be reduced up to 15%. No processing charges. I feel that this is as good as we can get under the circumstances. Next one. Then there is a GECL, where a pre-approved sanction limit of up to 20% of the loan outstanding that has been extended. And recently there is talk of extending this facility to some financial institutions. I hope that there will be an announcement coming in the next few days from the Union government of a modified guaranteed emergency credit line for the financial institutions which are funded by the banks. But the MSME units have been further assured of a 20% extra guaranteed emergency credit line, which was given last year. This is for units which don't require restructuring, but which are in need of liquidity. So this has to be given. 3 lakh crore was the outlay, but the government has said that this will be, bolstered, or, this will be replaced, or the amount will be increased if there is an additional demand. Next one. This is a continuation. Sectors identified. The Kamath Committee on Resolution Framework has also identified. And this Kamath Committee, mind you, is not strictly for the MSME sector. It is for sectors which have been identified specifically by the committee, and for loans which are above 50 crores and up to 500 crore. Loans up to 50 crore are covered by the MSME restructuring. 50 to 500 crores, as identified by the Kamath Committee, will also be eligible for restructuring. which indicates that RBI as the regulator has covered more or less the entire gamut, the entire universe of activities which are carried on in this country under the ambit of either the MSME sector or sectors which do not fall within the definition of MSME, but which contribute to the national economy, whose survival is needed to be supported, which are income generators, which are job providers, and which are integral to reviving growth and putting India back on the growth path. We have had a year in which we have had negative growth, and we have to at least grow up to the level of negative growth so that the national economy, the GDP level, reaches a level equivalent to that we had in 2019. At the end of 2022, the minimum that you, chartered accountants, the stakeholders, the MSME entrepreneurs, the managements represented by TIE, bankers like me, all of us should be wedded and that is, we should be agreeable, and we should be on the same page, that we should be mindful of the fact that unless we work together, our national economy will be at a level which is lower than even 2019, which is the saddest legacy, the worst legacy that we can leave to the next generation. It is the bounden duty of all of us to see to it that such an eventuality doesn't arise. And there the regulators have provided the framework. The bankers have been told to act. The chartered accountants have a critical role in preparing paper which is acceptable and in tune with the restructuring guidelines, the spirit laid down by RBI, and the individual board laid down policies. I am sure bankers will show further flexibility if that is required. We are all, I think we have the understanding and the experience to tailor solutions which are acceptable, and to make, even if it is slightly deviant from this framework, we all know how to make it acceptable. There are umpteen number of ways in which we have worked together on so many solutions, and we should work towards creating solutions to this problem so that we are again on the growth path. So with this, I would like to conclude and leave this presentation as circulated to the participants. I have to take leave now because I have to join. Maybe if that is okay with you, Mr. Prakash, of course, thanks to Mr. Prakash for ceding time ahead of you are the first speaker listed. Thanks to Mr. Prakash. Thanks, Mr. Ranjit, Deepa Varghese, whom I can see on the screen, and the umpteen number of friends whom I cannot see on the screen. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Adhikesh, for offering what the banks has to MSMEs as well as your expectations on the MSMEs and the chartered accountants supporting them. Now, as we move on to the next session, it's my privilege to introduce the next speaker, Sri Prakash GS, the Joint Director and Head of Office of MSME Development Institute, Thrissur, which is a part of the Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Sir belongs to the Indian Enterprise Development Services, a Government of India group service. He is basically an engineering graduate in electronics and communication. Sri Prakash joined BPL Limited as a production engineer after his engineering graduation, and after 3 years joined the Ministry of MSME through UPSC. He has worked in the ministry at Nirman Bhavan, New Delhi, and 7 different field offices under the ministry. Presently, Sri Prakash is posted as the Joint Director and Head of Office of MSME Development Institute, Thrissur, the field office of Ministry for Kerala and Lakshadweep, engaged in the implementation of programs and policies of the Ministry of MSME, Government of India in Kerala and Lakshadweep in association with the state government. Now he will enlighten us on the programs and policies of the Ministry of MSME. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, if you could increase your volume a little, it would have been better.
Okay. Okay, but I need the permission to share. I cannot share the content.
Raju, if you could please help, sir.
Second thing is, what is the time for my presentation? How much time I can take?
So you can take 1.5 hours, sir.
1.5 hours?
Yes. We can go up to 1 hour, 1.5 hours, no problem.
That's too lengthy, maybe.
We leave it to your convenience.
Get some questions in between.
Okay. Okay, now I got. Now it's audible, no? So I will switch off the video because otherwise the sound may not be clear. Okay. Is it audible now? See, I just wanted to start from where Mr. Adikeshavan has left. As we had, in fact, we had a morning program at Thrissur chapter, and another program by the Kozhikode chapter also was there, your ICA chapter. Then the national, your national committee has also having a similar program at the national level. Our MSME ministry is participating, and Kozhikode also there was a program, one of our officers participated. So I just wanted to tell you that where you can chip in and help the MSMEs. One is the restructuring, as Mr. Adikeshavan has pointed out. The restructuring is the need of the hour. In fact, yesterday I had a meeting with the general manager of SBI, wherein he was telling that every day they are, one of the branch, they are restructuring at least 20 accounts. In some of the accounts, even without the entrepreneur visiting the branch, up to 10 lakh, they are restructuring. So they need to have some, MSMEs need to have to guide it, how to go for restructuring. So that is one thing. And other thing is like recently the union budget, the finance minister proposed the changes in the definition of the small companies under the Companies Act, with the paid up capital of 2 crore and a turnover of 20 crore, which will fall under the small companies. Previously, the threshold limit paid up capital was 50 lakhs and turnover to 2 crore. This will help almost 2 lakh small companies, the proprietary type companies, they can change over to company structure. Also, the finance minister has announced incentives to incorporate one-person company by allowing such companies to grow without any restrictions. She also said to boost the ease of doing business, OPCs, that one-person companies will henceforth be allowed to convert to any other type of company activity. So these type of activities, the chartered accountants can play a vital role. And also, we have got the MSMEs to come to the MSME exchange, MSME stock exchange. We got a MSME stock exchange. So that also we can help some of the MSMEs in the state. At least we can target a few MSMEs and grow through the stock exchange. With this, let me come to the share my presentation. Is it audible? Sorry, is it visible?
Sir, it's visible, sir.
So my presentation will be basically about the programs and policies of Ministry of MSME, Government of India. The MSME definition, all these things. Normally we'll tell all these things, all programs. We say MSMEs are great. There are so many units, employment, GDP contribution, export. But the fact is the 6 crore MSMEs you talk about. The real number of MSMEs, the registered units are roughly around 20% only. Almost 80% of the MSMEs are unorganized sector. In terms of the export, if you take the 2017-18, about 48% of the export from the country was from the MSME sector. So industry is a concurrent list of the Government of India, and in constitution of the concurrent list of the Government of India and Government of State Government. So both have got some programs and policies. Normally the policies, the national level or the definition of the industry, what are the credit policies, etc. will be decided at the Government of India level. State government will implement such policies, and also state government will have their own promotional programs. Mr. Adikeshavan has talked about the Kerala scenario of MSME also. I am not going to all these things. So these are the overall support system for the MSMEs. At the national level, there's a MSME ministry, MSME board is there, then Development Commission MSME and field officers, then Kayar Board, NSIC, then Khadi Village Industries Commission, SIDBI. These are some of the officers under the Ministry of MSME. Also, we got state government level. We have got various organizations like DICs, Directorate of Industry, KFC, KSIDC, KINFRA, all these things comes under state government. So my office is MSME Field Institute. It's a MSME Development Institute Thrissur. We have got a jurisdiction of Kerala and Lakshadweep at implementing the programs and policy of the Ministry of MSME, Government of India. So Ministry of MSMEs have a field offices all over the states. It's a network of offices having field offices, development institute in almost all states. Then MSME testing stations are there. MSME technology centers are there. These MSME technology centers are, there are 18 technology centers function in the all over the country, like tool rooms, Indo-German, Indo-Danish tool rooms, prototype development centers, Central Footwear Training Institute, Glass and Ceramic Institute, Flavors and Fragrance, electronic testing, electrical measuring. So different product specific and other general engineering and other specific product type also, the technology centers. These centers offers both technology services and also provide common facility services, the high-end machines, where the MSMEs come and take up the common facility services, like the tool making, die making, jig making, etc. In Kerala, so far there is no technology center, but 15 new technology centers are coming up. One of which is coming up in Angamali, Telk in Ernakulam, which is under construction. Almost 80% of the civil work has been completed. It's a 200 crore investment by the Government of India. And the land is provided by the state government. 15-acre land is provided by state government, which will be basically an engineering facility with the precision machine tools and allied equipments to design and manufacture molds, jigs, fixtures, etc. High-end precision parts and components. And also there will be training programs. These technology centers offer training programs from school drops to MTech. Some of the technology centers have BTech, MTech courses also. So also we are having MSME testing centers in 4 testing centers in the metros, where MSMEs can come test their products as per the BIS and other standards. There is also testing stations in cities. So policy framework, I come to the policy framework. The MSME Act 2006 was the basic policy framework under which the MSMEs were defined. It was in a Parliament enacted Act, be operational in 2006. Earlier, we have got a small scale industry and business, but in the 2006, it has combined as a small enterprise, micro and small enterprises. The term enterprise has come with the enactment of the MSME Development Act 2006. So this particular policy only notify how to the registration, the policy framework, delayed payment, credit support, all these things are defined under this particular policy. So we had the definition of MSMEs. Earlier we had a definition of based on the investment in plant and machinery. Was during the Alpendra Bharat package announcement, during recent Alpendra Bharat package, 20 lakh crore package, in which 5 lakh crore has been earmarked for MSMEs. The Government of India has come up with a revised MSME classification. So under the revised classification, enterprises are defined or classified on a composite criteria based on the investment in plant and machinery, in manufacturing, investment in office equipment for service sector, and turnover. It is an investment and turnover. Accordingly, up to 1 crore investment and turnover 5 crore micro, 10 crore, 50 crore small, up to 50 crore investment, turnover 250 crore medium. Here, any enterprise grows the criteria either of the category, it will be placed in the higher category. That means if an enterprise has a 2 crore investment, then their turnover is, even if it is below 5 crore, they will be in the small scale category. But it will not be placed in the lower category unless it comes down in both the category. If you go to small scale industry, if you want to come to the micro industry, you have to come in both of the cases, you have to come down. Normally it is may not happen because investment and all, it may not, but some cases it may happen. Here, the turnover of export also is exempted from the purview of turnover, because so that the MSMEs with turnover, even higher turnover, can continue to enjoy the benefits of that. So what is the basis of calculation of investment in plant and machinery? Existing enterprises where ITR for the file, the calculation of investment will be based on the income tax, ITR of the financial year filed under the ITR. Where in the case of new enterprises, the calculation of investment will be based on the self-declaration basis of the promoter. The self-declaration basis means the invoice value of the plant and machinery purchased, whether the first hand or second hand, minus GST. That will be the based on that. But once they give the self-declaration basis and they register the MSME, once they file the income tax or GST, accordingly they have to give the revised classification, revised submission. Turnover again is based on the again GST and Income Tax Act. Enterprises which have PAN number, information regarding turnover, shall be linked with the IT Act or the GST Act and the GST Act. Enterprise who do not have PAN, the turnover related figure will be considered on self-declaration basis for a period to 31st March 2000. So because the PAN is now it is PAN is mandatory, even though GST is not become mandatory. Initially when the notification came, GST was also mandatory. But on 31st of March 2021, the government has come with the notification that GST is not mandatory. But PAN and Aadhaar number is mandatory. For a company, for an enterprise like a company or a LLP, society, whatever structure is, the authorized person, authorized signatories, Aadhaar number and the PAN of the company is required. Proprietary means the proprietary. Regarding the PAN, again I want to mention that one enterprise against one PAN can only register as a single entity. That means even if you got a different factories or different facilities in different locations, all it will be considered as a single entity, and the combined turnover and investment will be considered for calculating the MSME classification. So MSMEs can be registered in the Udyam registration portal. This is a Government of India portal, Government of India Ministry of MSME portal, where you can register as a free of cost without charging any, without paying any amount. So there are some fake sites. Don't go to the fake sites. It is, you can register even without that. So this is the website, MSME registration, udyamregistration.gov.in, the government website. As I told you, there are various fake sites are there. If you go to, if you just write MSME registration and all, people will, they will take you to the Google or a search or some net will take you to some other sites and they will ask you money and all. So don't go for it. It's the Government of India, Ministry of MSME site is there. So what is the features of Udyam registration? PAN along with Aadhaar number for company, LLP, cooperative society and trust. PAN is mandatory. GSTN is, Aadhaar is also mandatory, but GSTN is not mandatory, and GST number is exempted to those units which have got relaxation under GST Act. There is turnover up to 40 lakh or 20 lakhs. All the existing enterprises has to change to the new registration before 31st December 2021. The existing registration will be valid only up to 31st December 2021. SSI registration or earlier registration, Udyam Aadhaar memorandum, whatever may be, that will be valid only up to 31st December 2020. Here, Mr. Adhikeshavan was mentioning about trading should be allowed for registration. So the government has certain activities are not allowed as MSMEs, like forestry, agriculture, trading, retail trading, and wholesale trade. Primary agriculture activities, these items, fishing, aquaculture, forestry, and these type of activities cannot be considered as MSME. They cannot register also. So some banks are asking traders to register, take Udyam registration. That we came to our notice, and we have taken up the issue with the RBI and SLBC to give proper direction to banks not to insist for Udyam registration for traders, because traders are not eligible for MSME registration. But whereas in agriculture, you can, if you go for value addition means you got a machinery, you got a process, and you got a value addition. From raw material to product, there is a value addition. Then you can consider as an MSME. If you take one activity here, preparation of crops or primary markets, that is cleaning, trimming, grading, and disinfecting. Even a primary agri producers, if you convert, clean, trim, and grade and disinfect, that can be considered as a value-added activity, and it can be considered as a MSME. Like production of eggs, operation of poultry hatcheries, honey, beekeeping, bee honey production. All these things can consider as seed production, post-harvest activities. All these can be considered as MSME since there is a value addition. And also, until recently, the repair of maintenance of motor vehicle, like the many large-scale automobiles, they got their own service stations. So government might have thought it may not be required to give the registration, but recently government has allowed that. Maintenance and repair of motor vehicles can also be registered as MSME. So what are the benefits of MSME registration? What benefits you will get once you get MSME registered? The Public Procurement Policy 2020, it's 2012, under which all the government departments and the government PSUs and central PSUs, I'm talking about the Government of India Public Procurement Policy, which mandates 25% of the procurement from MSMEs. Micro and small, medium is not involved in the public procurement policy. 25% of the procurement has to be done from micro and small enterprises with certain benefits. Benefits in the sense, there is a price preference, 15% price preference. That means even if the tender is not L1, L1 plus 15% price brand comes, the tender has to be given to the MSME entrepreneur, provided he brings the price to the L1. Then there is a tender document free, EMD exemption. Again, within the 25%, 4% is reserved for SC/ST entrepreneurs, 3% for women entrepreneurs. SC/ST women means 51% stake. Proprietary means either SC/ST entrepreneur or a women entrepreneur as a proprietor. Other forms, at least 51% stake by the respective sectors. So these are the policies, the public procurement policy. So if you want to avail this public procurement policy, you need the MSME registration. There is also Make in India policy. Make in India policy again gives preference. Hello? Hello, any issue?
No, please continue. Please continue.
So preference to Make in India policy, whether the participants are there. Okay.
Yes, sir. Participants are here, sir. Participants are here. Please continue, sir.
So I am not able to see anyone. So preference to Make in India. So preference to Make in India policy is also as you know, the government of India has got an ambitious plan of making India's Atmanirbhar, self-reliant, which make Indian MSMEs to be integrated with the global value chain, and India becoming a manufacturing hub, not only for the country, for the global manufacturing base. So to promote that one, government has given preference to government purchases. One policy is up to 200 crore purchases. There is no need for global tenders. Government can purchase with local tender. That's one thing. Second thing is preference for local suppliers. Local supplier means if a supplier has 50% or more local content. Local content means the sales minus the sales price minus the import content value divided by sales price. If it is 50% or more, it is called the class 1 supplier. Likewise, class 2 supplier, like different suppliers are there. But any purchase, even if the L1 is not a local supplier, if a local supplier is available, class 1 local supplier or supplier, even if he has not applied, he has not quoted the L1, the tender has to be given to the L1, the local supplier, provided the concerned department has fixed a certain limit, that L1 plus this much range, say 15%, 20%. Each department can decide. If that comes that range, they have to give that particular tender to the L1 supplier, the local supplier. That is a Make in India policy. Government has come up with a government e-market GEM, which is again a part of the ease of doing business strategy. As you know, the government, the because of the various initiatives of the Government of India, our ease of doing business, World Bank ranking has come up from 140 to 160, and government is aiming to further come within the within the 50. So this government e-market, the public procurement, which is around 10 lakh crore, facilitate the MSMEs to place their products and services in the government e-market, and government departments can directly procure these items from the government e-market, G. So here the government financial rules has been amended so that whatever items available in GEM can be purchased either directly or through bids. The government financial rules has been, there is all top of e-bidding, reverse auction, direct procurement, all is possible through GEM portal. And also GEM portal, if you see the total number of buyers, 52,000 buyers, all government departments, PSUs are registered as buyers. And if you see the total value, 1,16,000, roughly around 1,16,000 crore sales has happened through this GEM portal. And also you take the value, 56% of the total value is from MSMEs in the GEM. That also shows the MSMEs got a large presence in the. Also, the startups can also register in GEM, and if any government department finds their products useful, 3 departments, government department find it useful and give their validation that, okay, this product of the startup is okay, then with that validation, they can permanently place their product in the GEM portal. Again, there is another policy which gives preference to startups and MSMEs, that in any government tender, the prior turnover and experience, prior turnover and experience criteria cannot be fixed for MSMEs and startups. Trade receivable e-discounting system again is a platform created by the Government of India with through the RBI notification, where the MSMEs face a great challenge in delayed payment. Delayed payment is one issue faced by the MSMEs, and because of that, their working capital get many times squeezed. So to meet this challenge, the government has come up with a trade receivable discounting system, wherein we got buyer, seller, and financier banks in a common platform. As sellers, MSME will register. As buyers, large-scale enterprise and PSUs. As per the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, any enterprise more than 500 crore has to register in the TReDS platform. So we got almost 71 banks, 604 buyers as registered in the TReDS platform. So you can place your invoices there and get the bids from the banks. And the banks, once you accept, as a MSME, you accept, you will get the payment within 24 hours. And by the time, the due date, 60 days or 90 days, whatever may be, the bank will get the payment from the buyer. There are 2 types of discounting, buyer side and seller side. Because of the time constraints, I am not going to the details. Delayed payment. Again, as per the MSME Act, MSMEs can claim a delayed payment act under the provisions under the Delayed Payment Act for penal interest if the payment is beyond 45 days as per the agreed terms and conditions. And they can approach a MSME Facilitation Council, which is set up in each state under the chairmanship of the Director of Industries of the concerned state government. In Kerala also, there is one facilitation center functioning under the Director of Industries, Government of Kerala, which can hear the case and give the verdict. If verdict comes in favor of the MSME, the buyer has to pay penal interest 3 times of the bank rate notified by the RBI. Again, to facilitate this, MSME has set up Ministry has set up a Samadhan portal, msmesamadhan.gov.in, which this portal facilitate. If you register, if you place your delayed payment issues here, it get notified to both the purchaser and all the concerned departments, and also it will be notified to the MSME Facilitation Council. Marketing support and all, I am not going to in detail because it is a lot of time to take. We MSME Ministry provide support to MSMEs to participate in national and international exhibitions. We provide reimbursement up to 80% of the, in some cases like women SCST, 100% we give for participating in domestic and international exhibition. In international exhibition, up to 1.25 lakhs. They can also send the delegates, MSME associations, and they can send delegates to the international exhibitions and events with this under the support. And to and fro airfare and daily allowance, etc. is available under the particular scheme. MSME Mart is a B2B portal operated by NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, which is a corporation under the Ministry of MSME. This portal facilitates B2B interaction or B2B interaction with the global market players. In fact, this is to help the MSMEs to go globally, provides the global business opportunities by placing the product in the MSME Mart. Khadi products can also be registered on the ekhadi.com, a website maintained by KVAC, e-commerce portal, where you can place, if your product belongs to the Khadi or rural industries category, you can place your product in the ekhadi.com. Improving the competitiveness of the MSMEs, the government has come up with different components, the lean manufacturing, ZED, zero effect, zero defect, provide new designs through design clinic, intellectual property for patent reimbursement, trademark reimbursement, geographical indication reimbursement. All these things are available. Incubation, if you got an idea, you can convert it to an enterprise through these particular schemes. These schemes are under revision now, so I'm not going to details of this scheme. Just think about, just be aware of the schemes, that these type of schemes are available. Once the schemes, because by March 31st, 2021, the scheme, the period is over and now the scheme is under revision. It will take 3-4 months to revise the schemes and once it again operational. Under the lean manufacturing scheme, up to 36 lakh is available for a small group of MSMEs come together and implement lean techniques. Lean techniques are very productive techniques which help to MSMEs to reduce their waste. And we got a zero effect, zero defect certification scheme like ISO. This is a particular certification where zero effect means, zero defect means defect-free manufacturing, zero effect means without any discharge to the environment or optimum utilization of resources. Design clinic again to implement new designs. National Institute of Design experts helps to come up with a new design, or NITs, IID, different organizations there. So their experts will come and help you. Intellectual property rights, we help the MSMEs to get the patent, reimburse the patent charges. National patent 1 lakh, international patent 2 lakhs, trademark 10,000, GI registration 2 lakh, we give reimbursement. In MSME Development Institute, there is an IP Facilitation Center functioning, which also help the MSMEs to get these intellectual property assets. Now coming to the various credit measures, because Mr. Adhikeshavan has already spoken about these things, credit linked capital subsidy scheme. Again, this scheme is under revision. I am not going to details because this scheme provides 15% capital subsidy for the MSMEs for technology upgradation or new MSMEs based on technology. It is for the 15% for the institutional finance. CGTMSE up to 2 crore loan collateral free possible under the scheme, provided the bank agree with the financial and technical viability and they agree with the terms and conditions. So up to 2 crore projects can be considered the CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Trust for Scheme for collateral free loan. Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, PMEGP, is a Government of India scheme of the Ministry of MSME operated through state governments, under which new enterprises can be created. 25 lakhs up to new enterprises for manufacturing, 10 lakh for business, and up to 35% subsidy is available in this for women and CST, and a normal 25% in rural areas. This is again implemented through DIC, KVAC and KVAB, Khadi Villages Board and Commission. Second loans also available under PMBGP. Those who avail the first loan, they can apply for second loan up to 1 crore. The restructuring of MSMEs, Mr. Adi Kashmir has covered extensively. I'm not going to, but this particular is a very much required now. And chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, all your professional bodies can really help the MSMEs to come up with a restructuring package. Emergency credit line guarantee scheme, the government has the 20 lakh crore package. 3 lakh crore has been earmarked for the emergency credit line guarantee scheme, which was to provide the immediate credit to the MSMEs when they were about to restart their operations after the COVID. The 4 versions of the ECLGS come 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. The 1.0 was initially announced for the MSMEs up to 50 crore outstanding loan, outstanding credit, with the past due up to 60 days. Then 2.0 has come, in which it has enhanced to 500 crore, and the identified sectors under the Kamath committee was also been included. And the ECLGS 3.0 has come, wherein 100% guarantee was provided to hospitality, to travel and tourism, sports, civil aviation, etc. Then again ECL 4.0 has come, wherein 100% guarantee was provided to the fund to hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, medical, so all type of hospital services, medical services. So this scheme is even now is open. Any enterprise which have got outstanding credit on 29 to 2020, they can avail up to 40%, certain sectors up to 40%. There is a 2% 2 years moratorium on principal payment, but interest will be serviced during the period. And the tenor of the loan is up to 6 years. So this is actually, if you go to the CGT, that is Credit Guarantee Trust Corporation, National Credit Guarantee Trust Corporation side, you'll get the detailed notification. Actually, this is scheme is of the Ministry of Finance, not the scheme of the Ministry of MSME, but it is directly having link with MSMEs, and it's benefited. In Kerala itself, this particular scheme, almost 6,000 crore has been given to MSMEs. 1 lakh MSMEs has got benefit. 6,000 crore has already been dispersed from the scheme. Restructuring, again, the SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank, has come up with an asset restructuring module, a web-based do-yourself module to help MSME entrepreneurs to prepare the restructuring proposal themselves and submit to their banks. It is a portal developed by Small Industry Development Bank. If entrepreneurs can directly go there and submit their proposal, restructuring proposal, through this restructuring module. This is another sector. The previous scheme, Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, was only available to the units which are functioning and their accounts has not gone to NPA. But this particular scheme, Subordinate Debt Scheme, has come up for units which have gone to NPA. The NPA as on MSMEs who have account have been standard as on 33/2008. That means on 33/2018 should be standard. After that, if they have gone to NPA, they can go for this subordinate debt. What is the main? This is MSME promoters will be provided credit equal to 15% of their stake, or 75 lakh. 15% of their stake in the enterprise. That will be given as a personal loan. Personal loan. That is but this scheme really didn't take off in the field because of the one is the 15% of the promoter stake was one thing, and another thing is it was the MSME unit should be in operational even in 18, 19, 19, 20 and all. So many of these accounts which are turned NPAs not meeting these criteria, according so that it was not able to restructure. This is again a package announced on the Alpatharbar package, Self-Reliance Fund. It's providing equity support to MSMEs. Normally, we get equity from VCs and for not for the conventional MSMEs, only for the IT-based or technology-oriented startups. But this particular fund, the fund of fund, aims to provide equity to the MSMEs. And this particular scheme also through NSIC, government is starts in the process of implementing only. NSIC, National Small Industry Corporation, is implementing. And the scheme will provide equity capital to the MSME so that it can take them to be listed in the stock exchange. The government wants the MSME to be listed in the stock exchange. Infrastructure development, again a scheme, a major scheme of the MSME ministry, MSME cluster development program, wherein a group of industries come together, they can avail certain facilities like common facility centers. Like if a number of 20 units come together and they got common challenges. To address these common challenges, they can set up a common facility center, like a common design center, common effluent treatment plant, common production process, part of the production process, common design center, common marketing place. All these things are possible. And a project up to 20 crores, 70% Government of India grant. It is a non-returnable grant. And 20% against state government is possible, and 10% contribution from the SPV, the special purpose vehicle created for them. So in Kerala, almost 15 clusters have benefited. Government of India has already sanctioned more than 100 crore under the scheme. And industry infrastructure also, Kinfra parks, various parks also, this particular infrastructure development also, this particular scheme is utilized. In Kerala, more than 11 parks have been benefited under the scheme. Many parks has been set up under this scheme. Stand Up India, 1 crore loan for women and SC/ST entrepreneurs. These many banks find it very difficult to get the potential candidates. So this particular scheme is, very much we can utilize for particularly for women entrepreneurs and SC/ST entrepreneurs. Up to 1 crore is available. PSB loans in 59 minutes, the government has come up with again electronic platform wherein the MSMEs or anybody can go and fill up the details and get in principle approval for a loan within 1 hour. This is again an electronic platform. Udyami Mitra portal is a single portal where the MSMEs or any borrower can go and fill up and submit to the banks their loan application and different schemes, whether the Mudra, Stand Up India, all these things can be covered under a single. There is also a traditional industries, the cluster development, cluster development is mainly for MSMEs. For traditional industries like artisans, village industries, there is a Spurti, small scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries. Again, this is again for we have got tire clusters in Trivandrum, mat clusters in some areas, handicrafts. So these type of people, if they come together for giving individual units the tools, common facility, training center, their common production center, etc., can be set up under the particular scheme. In the state, around 8 clusters have been given fund under the scheme. MSME Institute conduct various training programs, skill development programs. We conducted an entrepreneurship development program, management development program, industry motivational campaigns, awareness, a lot of webinars. We have in this year, we have conducted more than 100 webinars for the MSMEs. We got very good participation. National Small Industry Corporation, again under the Ministry of MSME, Mini Ratna Company, which provides various services. I'm not going to details. They got office in Kochi, Shanmugam Road. Then there is a SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank. Again, it's a part of the ministry, MSME. They got office in Kochi, in Financial Towers. SIDBI has recently come up with 2 products, SWAS and Arog, which provides credit to the oxygen cylinder suppliers, PPE kit, ICU bed, all COVID related and medical related businesses providing funds. Khadi Village Industry Commission, again under the Ministry of MSME. They got office in Trivandrum, KVAC office. MSME Ministry has recently come up with a grievance redressal forum, champions.gov.in, which provides a forum for submit the grievances of MSMEs and suggestions and some valid opinion about the MSME sector. There are schemes, etc. can be given this online portal, champions.gov.in. The scheme details also available in this champions.gov.in site. And MSMEDA Thrissur has also got a website and our email ID. Then My MSME, one mobile app is there, My MSME. If you download the My MSME app also, you'll get the details of the schemes. So this is my presentation. I thank you very much.
Sir, I request you to stay back. Questions chat box. But before we move to the question,
your voice is not audible. Your voice is
kindly give the by the president, vice president, chairman, and vice chairman of this committee. Raju, if you could please. Should I repeat the message? I thank you, Prakash sir, for the presentation, but request you to kindly stay on so that we can take the question answers. We already have a couple of questions on the question and answer chat box. While the members are raising more questions, may I request our branch to kindly host the videos which have been sent from our president, vice president, chairman, and vice chairman of the MSME committee. Raju, please do that.
Myself, CA Pramod Jain, and I welcome you all on this International MSME Day. My best wishes for the International MSME Day. This day is important because the newly formed committee of ICI, that is the Committee on MSME and Startup, is trying to help the nation, being in a true sense a partner in nation building, by launch of so many initiatives, including the website, including the new course, and so many dissemination of knowledge. And I'm very sure that we all together, chartered accountants, would make really the country proud and take it to the 5 trillion economy by helping the MSMEs. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Dear leader of the profession and my professional colleague, very good morning to each and everyone. At the outset, I wish you a very happy International MSME Day. To mark the importance of the International MSME Day, series of the program being organized by various branches. Near about 100 branches are celebrating this International MSME Day. And this program will focus on creating awareness program about the various schemes introduced by the government as well as the state government. The Committee on MSME and Startup is also launching various initiatives for the benefit of the Indian MSME to realize the dream of self-reliant India of our Honorable Prime Minister. We are launching MSME portal, which is a portal of members who are interested in providing their services, which is a portal of MSME who are interested to treat the service of the CAs. We are also launching the ICI MSME Exchange, which covers the CA Service Exchange, in which any Indian MSME can register with the ICI and search from any expert services offered by the chartered accountant. MSME Help Desk, which brings the expertise of the local large pool of the ICI member at their doorstep in the local city itself. 165 branches, 5 regional council, our extended wing of the ICI would facilitate MSME Help Desk in the branch premises, which dedicated experts will support the local MSME clusters. MSME illuminations, that's also launching here. This is kind of e-Sahayata, which facilitate the expert advice on various issues faced by the MSME registered with the ICI. Last but not least, we are also launching 2 batch of certificate course on MSME, which is intended to equip member as business solution provider for MSME sector. On behalf of the ICI and committee as well as MSME startup, I thanks all people over here which are participating in this particular webinar. Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues, this year the Institute has constituted a committee on MSME and startup in February 2021. This committee has been constituted to spread knowledge about government schemes, subsidy and other initiatives for the MSMEs among members of the Institute and mobilize the activities focused to this sector so as to involve significant number of professionals from fraternity of practicing and young chartered accountants. Interested members should have full knowledge of schemes announced by the central government for the MSMEs and also note that RBI has issued directions to banks on issues like priority lending, credit-linked guarantee scheme, lesser interest rates and availability and access to greater credit for the MSMEs. MSMEs play a very important role in the country's economy and contribute to its economic growth. The Institute, being a partner in nation building, has joined hands with the government for furtherance of MSMEs. I congratulate all of you for being part of this International MSME Day. Thanking you.
My fellow colleagues in profession serving the nation through institutes branches across the country, I welcome you all on this International Day for MSMEs. This day is being celebrated pan-India, and I congratulate you all for being a part of this special occasion. You might have observed and recognized the shift in the mindset of the government for making India a vibrant economy. Several initiatives have been taken in this regard since last 2 decades. Several steps were taken and are being taken by the government to augment the role of MSMEs in improving the GDP. As a partner in nation building, the Institute has also recognized its role to aid and mobilize the involvement of chartered accountants as a large and versatile resource to help MSMEs in all possible areas. Using the financial expertise fortified with expertise in tax, compliances, strategic planning, future projections, and developing required financial strategy, there are many areas in which chartered accountants can help MSMEs. Our professional colleagues may also see the transformation of aspirational districts program launched by Honorable Prime Minister of India. It aims to quickly and effectively transform selected districts in various states. With states as the main drivers, this program will focus on the strength of each district, identify a low-hanging fruit for immediate improvement, measure progress and rank districts. These initiatives will certainly transform the economy of these districts and ultimately the states, which will not only generate employment but also reduce people's migrations. A chartered accountant, by its education, training and ground level connect with various MSMEs, can very well identify its role as professional in such areas. The Institute is also launching certificate course on MSMEs for chartered accountants to enable them to equip for this specific area of practice. Indeed, it will widen scope and volume of work in new area of professional engagement for the chartered accountants. This would be different from the traditional practice, but everything required for the MSME area is already an expertise of the chartered accountants. Several ministries are having subsidy schemes at central and state level, and we have to get involved ourselves and then be ready to render services to MSMEs. I once again congratulate all those associated with this novel initiative of the Institute as partner in nation building.
Prakash sir. Prakash sir, are you able to view the questions on the chat box, or shall I read it out for you?
Yeah, please. Please.
Yeah. The question is, is there any mode for third party to check MSME registration is valid or not? Sir,
Yeah, yeah.
were
Yes,
you
Mr.
able to hear
Moses.
me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah.
See, MSME registration can be checked. Suppose you got any doubt, you can refer to us whether the Udyam registration is a valid registration. We will verify and we will tell you.
The next question which has come up is, there is a misconception that once the MSME accounts are restructured under the RBI scheme, later on they may find it difficult to avail further banking facilities since the restructured status will reflect in the CIBIL or CRI, LIC report, etc. What is your advice in this regard?
See, I am not the right person to mention, talk about, but somebody from bank has to. But as per my understanding, the RBI has very clearly mentioned that such accounts should not be treated as a trusted as account or NPA. Nothing should be mentioned because it is very natural that almost majority of the accounts is now stressed because of the pandemic. So I don't think because as a policy of since the government RBI has come up with a clear policy, we need not much worried about that thing. Our immediate concern should be restructure our account and how to continue with our business. That is only we should not much worried about that.
Are there any more questions? Jyoti madam, you can actually write to us at the institute if you have any further questions, or any participant can actually write to us. We will consolidate all the questions and take it up with the concerned and get back to you with the answers. And the presentations, as usual, will be hosted on the website of kochiica.org. If there are any further questions, please write to us, or we can actually move to the last program. Chairman. Prakash sir, thank you so much for explaining to us in detail what are the policies and programs taken up by the state government as well as the central government. And thank you for telling us that we can always approach you. We will definitely get back to you for further clarifications if required, if any of the members would like to know something further. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this afternoon. I take this opportunity to also thank the Committee for MSMEs and Startups ICAI, chaired by Dheeraj sir and Vice Chairman Pramod sir, who just joined us through video because they are not able to join us live, as well as the President and Vice President of ICAI for passing their messages to us. They'll have programs across the country today, so they've been really busy, and they ensured that they recorded this program for us, this message for us. Thank you so much to all of them. I also take this opportunity to thank all the participants who joined us on all these days, and especially today. Definitely, if you have questions, do write to us. We'll be more than happy to take it forward for you. A special thank you to all the managing committee members who joined us and supported the chairman and myself in conducting this program. And also a special thank you to all the staff at Ernakulam branch under the able leadership of Victoria Madam. Thank you once again to everyone. We will definitely be hosting more programs for you in the near future. And yes, CA Day is coming up on 1st of July. We will be coming up with detailed brochure and the flyer on what the programs will be. Please watch out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to Mr. Babu Kalai, who has been instrumental in inviting me, and I thank the forum for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.